What happens when a royal guest goes completely off script on live television and challenges one of America's most respected talk show hosts? You're about to witness one of the most explosive moments in daytime TV history. Make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below, because this story will leave you speechless. Prince Harry appears relaxed as he takes his place on The View's iconic panel, greeting the co-hosts with his trademark charm. The studio audience buzzes with excitement, phones recording every moment as cameras roll for what was supposed to be a routine promotional interview. Welcome back to The View. I'm Whoopi Goldberg, and we're here with Prince Harry. Whoopi announces to thunderous applause. "Thank you for joining us today, Your Royal Highness." "Please, just Harry," he responds with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. "And thank you for having me, though I have to say, I'm not sure how royal I am these days." The comment hangs in the air like a loaded weapon. Whoopi raises an eyebrow, sensing something brewing beneath the surface. "Well, you're still a prince in our books. Now, let's talk about your new memoir. You've been quite candid about your family relationships." Harry's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Candid, yes. Some might say too candid. But isn't that what everyone wanted? The truth. Truth can be subjective, though, can't it? Whoopi counters, her voice taking on that familiar edge that regular viewers know all too well. "I mean, there are always multiple sides to every family story." The studio falls silent. Harry leans forward, his blue eyes flashing with something dangerous. "Are you suggesting I'm lying about my own experiences, Ms. Goldberg?" "I'm not suggesting anything," Whoopi replies coolly. "I'm asking you to consider that maybe, just maybe, your perspective isn't the only one that matters here." The tension crackles between them, like electricity. The other co-hosts exchange nervous glances as the audience holds its collective breath. This was not going according to the pre-interview notes. My perspective. Harry's voice rises slightly. My perspective on being abandoned by my own family. On having my wife torn apart by the British press while they did nothing. On watching history repeat itself, just like it did with my mother. Whoopi doesn't flinch. "Harry, I understand you've been through trauma, real trauma. But don't you think there's a difference between sharing your truth and weaponizing it against people who can't defend themselves in the same public forum?" The words hit like a slap. Harry's face flushes red, and for a moment, it looks like he might actually get up and leave. Instead, he stays planted in his chair, his hands gripping the armrests. "Weaponizing." He repeats, slowly. "Is that what you think this is? You think I'm making this up for attention? For money?" I think Whoopi says deliberately that sometimes when we're hurt, we can lose sight of the bigger picture. Your grandmother served this country for 70 years. Your father has dedicated his entire life to public service. Maybe they deserve a little more consideration than they've been getting. The studio audience is dead silent now. Even the cameramen seem frozen in place. Harry's breathing becomes more visible, his chest rising and falling as he processes what he's just heard. Consideration. Harry's voice is barely controlled now. Where was their consideration when my wife was being driven to thoughts of suicide? Where was their consideration when they leaked stories about us to save themselves from bad press? Where was their consideration when they cut off our security and left us vulnerable? Whoopi leans back in her chair, unmoved by his emotional display. "Harry, I've been in this business a long time. I've seen people use their pain as an excuse to hurt others. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I am saying that maybe it's time to ask yourself some hard questions." "Hard questions." Harry laughs bitterly. "Like what?" "Like whether all this public soul-bearing is really about healing or whether it's about revenge." The word revenge lands like a bomb in the studio. Harry's face goes through a series of expressions: shock, anger, hurt, and finally, something that looks almost like rage. "How dare you," he says quietly, his voice deadly calm. "How dare you reduce everything I've been through, everything my wife has been through, to some petty revenge plot?" "I'm not reducing anything," Whoopi fires back. "I'm asking you to take responsibility for the consequences of your very public choices. You've made millions of dollars sharing family secrets. You've got Netflix deals, book contracts, speaking engagements. At what point does sharing your truth become exploiting your family's pain for profit?" The accusation hits its mark. Harry's composure finally cracks completely. Profit. He stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "You think this is about profit? I gave up everything for love, for truth, for the chance to protect my family the way no one protected my mother. And you're going to lecture me about profit while you host a talk show that thrives on controversy and celebrity gossip." The studio erupts. The audience gasps audibly, some people pulling out their phones to capture what's clearly becoming a historic television moment. The other co-hosts look like deer caught in headlights, unsure whether to intervene or let this train wreck continue, but Whoopi Goldberg has been in television for decades. She's faced down politicians, celebrities, and heads of state. An angry prince doesn't intimidate her in the slightest. "You can stand up all you want, Harry," she says calmly, not moving from her chair. "But throwing a tantrum doesn't make you right, and using your mother's memory to justify attacking your family doesn't make it noble." The mention of his mother crosses a line that should never have been crossed. Harry's face goes white, then red, his hands shaking with barely contained fury. "Don't you dare bring my mother into this." Harry's voice cuts through the studio like a blade. "You don't know what you're talking about." Whoopi's expression hardens. "I know plenty about your mother, Harry. I interviewed her. I respected her. And I know she wouldn't want her memory used as a shield for behavior that's hurting the very institution she married into." The audience gasps again. This has gone far beyond uncomfortable television. This is becoming a full-scale confrontation between two people who clearly have no intention of backing down. The institution Harry's laugh is bitter and hollow. The same institution that fed her to the wolves. The same institution that's doing it all over again to my wife. You respected her so much that you're going to defend the system that killed her. Harry, stop. Whoopi's voice carries a warning now. You're about to say something you can't take back. Good, Harry snaps. Maybe it's time someone said what everyone's thinking. The royal family is a relic, a corrupt system that destroys anyone who threatens their carefully crafted image. They destroyed my mother, they tried to destroy my wife, and they're still doing it now, while hiding behind tradition and duty. The studio is electric with tension. Security guards near the exits shift nervously, clearly unsure of their role in this unprecedented situation. The other co-hosts look like they want to disappear into their chairs. Whoopi stands up now, matching Harry's energy. All right, that's enough. You want to have this conversation? Let's have it. You say they destroyed your mother, but your mother chose to give that interview, chose to air her dirty laundry on international television. Sound familiar? How dare you compare what I'm doing to what my mother went through? Harry's voice rises to almost a shout. She was trapped, manipulated, gaslit by everyone around her. I'm choosing to speak my truth. Your truth, your truth, your truth, Whoopi repeats mockingly. That's all you ever talk about. What about their truth? What about your brother's truth? What about your father's truth? Or do they not matter, because they don't fit your narrative, their truth? Harry's eyes blaze. Their truth is silence. Their truth is never complain, never explain while they brief against us behind the scenes. Their truth is throwing us to the wolves to save themselves. And your truth is cashing checks while you burn down your family's reputation. Whoopi fires back, without hesitation. Your truth is playing victim. While you have more privilege and platform than 99% of the world will ever see. The words hit Harry like physical blows. His face cycles through emotions so quickly the cameras can barely keep up. Privilege. You think this is privilege? You think having your every move scrutinized, your wife driven to the brink of suicide? Security. Stripped away, being cut off from your family is privilege. I think, Whoopi says slowly, deliberately, that you had choices. You could have stayed and fought to change things from the inside. You could have used your position to make real change instead of running away and complaining from California. Running away. Harry's voice cracks slightly. I was protecting my family. I was doing what my father was too weak to do for my mother. Your father, Whoopi's voice drips with disdain now, is about to be crowned King of England. He spent his entire life preparing for that moment, dedicated everything to his country and his duty. And you're going to call him weak because he didn't abandon everything the way you did? He abandoned us first. Harry explodes. He chose the crown over his sons, just like they all do, just like they always have. The crown comes first, family comes second, and everyone else can go to hell. Maybe, Whoopi says coolly, the crown comes first because millions of people depend on it. Maybe duty means something bigger than your personal happiness. Maybe being royal means sacrifice, not just privilege. Harry stares at her in disbelief. Are you seriously defending them right now? After everything that's come out, after all the proof of how they operate, you're still defending them. I'm defending the idea that actions have consequences, Whoopi replies. And your actions, your very public, very profitable actions, have consequences for people you claim to love. Profitable. Harry repeats the word like it tastes bitter. Everything comes back to money with you people, doesn't it? You can't imagine someone doing something for any reason other than money. When someone signs $100 million deals to trash their family on international television, Whoopi says evenly, it's pretty hard to ignore the financial motivation. The accusation lands hard. Harry's composure, what little remained of it, finally shatters completely. You know what? I'm done. I'm done with this interview. I'm done with your judgment, and I'm done pretending that people like you understand what real courage looks like. Courage. Whoopi's eyebrows shoot up. You think running away and writing tell-all books is courage. You want to know what courage looks like. Courage is staying and fighting. Courage is changing the system from within instead of burning it down from the outside. The system can't be changed. Harry shouts, his voice echoing through the stunned studio. It's rotten to the core. It chews people up and spits them out, and anyone who tries to change it gets destroyed. Look what happened to my mother. Your mother, Whoopi says quietly. And there's something dangerous in her tone now. Made her own choices. She wasn't a victim, Harry. She was a grown woman who made decisions, just like you're making decisions now. And just like her, you're going to have to live with the consequences. The comparison to his mother's fate hits Harry like a lightning bolt. His face goes pale, then red, his hands trembling with rage. How dare you? How dare you imply that? My mother was responsible for what happened to her. I'm not implying anything, Whoopi says firmly. I'm stating a fact. Adults make choices. Your mother made choices. You're making choices. And choices have consequences. Get me out of here, Harry says suddenly, his voice shaking with barely contained fury. I want out of this interview. Now, actually, Whoopi says, standing up straighter, her voice carrying all the authority of someone who's been controlling television for decades. I think you need to leave. The words hang in the air like a death sentence. Harry stares at Whoopi in complete shock, as if he can't quite believe what he's just heard. The studio audience is frozen, caught between disbelief and excitement at witnessing television history. "Excuse me," Harry's voice is dangerously quiet now. "Did you just tell me to leave?" "I did," Whoopi replies without flinching. "This is my show, this is my house, and you've crossed every line of decency and respect. You came here as a guest. And you've acted like a spoiled child throwing a tantrum because someone dared to challenge your version of events." Harry's face transforms completely. Gone is any pretense of royal composure or media training.
What?
Remains is raw, unfiltered anger. Spoiled child. I'm a grown man who's been through more trauma than you could possibly imagine. Trauma doesn't give you a free pass to be disrespectful, Whoopi shoots back. And being a prince doesn't mean you get to come on my show and insult an institution that millions of people love and respect just because you're angry at your family. Millions of people, Harry repeats mockingly. You mean millions of people. Who buy into the fairy tale, who don't see what really goes on behind closed doors. You're just like all the rest, blinded by the pageantry and tradition while ignoring the human cost. Human cost. Whoopi's voice rises now, matching his energy. You want to talk about human cost? What about the cost to your brother, who's now carrying the weight of the crown and dealing with the fallout from your very public betrayal? What about the cost to your father, who's trying to modernize the monarchy while his own son undermines him at every turn? Betrayal. Harry's voice cracks with emotion. I told the truth about what happened to us. If that feels like betrayal to them, maybe they should examine their own actions instead of attacking mine. Truth. Whoopi laughs harshly. Your truth is one-sided, self-serving, and designed to make you look like the victim in every situation. You've painted yourself as the hero of your own story while making everyone else the villain, because that's what they are. Harry explodes. They're villains, hiding behind crowns and titles, destroying anyone who threatens their carefully constructed image. They killed my mother with their indifference, and they tried to do the same thing to my wife. Nobody killed your mother, Whoopi says firmly. Your mother died in a tragic accident. And using her death to justify your current behavior is not just wrong, it's disgusting. The word disgusting hits Harry like a physical blow. His entire body goes rigid, his face cycling through shock, hurt, and pure rage. Get out, he whispers. What? Whoopi asks, genuinely confused. Get out, Harry shouts, pointing at her with a shaking finger. Get out of your own chair. Get away from me. I don't want to look at you anymore. The studio erupts in chaos. The audience is gasping. Some people are standing up, trying to get a better view. Phones are recording from every angle. The other co-hosts look like they're witnessing a car crash in slow motion. This is my show, Whoopi says incredulously. You don't get to tell me to get out of my own show. Then I'll get out myself, Harry snarls. But as he moves to leave, his anger gets the better of him, and he turns back. You know what your problem is, Whoopi. You've been in Hollywood so long, you've forgotten what real courage looks like. You've become part of the establishment you used to challenge. My problem, Whoopi's voice is ice cold now. My problem is that I've wasted 20 minutes of my show giving a platform to someone who's more interested in playing victim than taking responsibility for his choices. Responsibility. Harry's laugh is bitter and hollow. I took responsibility. I left. I removed myself from a toxic situation to protect my family. That's more responsibility than anyone in my family has ever shown. You didn't remove yourself. Whoopi fires back. You removed yourself and then spent the next 3 years publicly attacking the people you left behind. That's not responsibility. That's cowardice. The word cowardice breaks something inside Harry. His face goes white. Then red, his hands shaking with barely contained fury. Cowardice. You think, leaving everything I've ever known, giving up my titles, my military honors, my family, my country, to protect the woman I love, is cowardice. I think, Whoopi says slowly, deliberately, that real courage would have been staying and fighting to change things, instead of running away. And writing books about how unfair everything was. I couldn't change anything. Harry screams, his voice cracking with emotion. The system is too big, too powerful, to set in its ways. They would have destroyed us both, if we'd stayed. So instead, you decided to try to destroy them first. Whoopi responds calmly. How's that working out for you? The question hangs in the air like a challenge. Harry stares at her, his chest heaving, his entire body vibrating with rage and frustration. For a moment, it looks like he might actually physically lunge at her. Instead, he does something unexpected. He laughs. It's not a happy laugh. It's the sound of someone who's reached the end of their rope and found nothing but empty air. You know what? He says, his voice suddenly eerily calm. You're right, this was a mistake. Coming here was a mistake. Thinking I could have an honest conversation with someone who's clearly made up her mind was a mistake. The only mistake, Whoopi replies, was thinking you could come on my show and not be challenged on your choices. Harry nods slowly, as if he's finally understanding something. You're absolutely right. I should have known better. I should have known that even here, even on a show that's supposed to be about different perspectives, I'd run into the same old establishment thinking. Whoopi's eyebrows shoot up. Harry, I've been fighting the establishment my entire career. The difference between you and me is that I fight it without burning down everything around me. No, Harry says quietly. The difference between you and me is that you've become what you used to fight against. You've become comfortable, safe, part of the system. And when someone comes along who actually threatens that system, you attack them. The accusation stings. Whoopi's composure finally cracks slightly. I attack people who use their privilege to play victim while hurting the people who love them. People who love me. Harry's voice is filled with bitter irony. Is that what you call it when they leak stories about you to the press? When they cut off your security? When they refuse to protect your wife from racist attacks? That's love. That's family, Whoopi says firmly. Messy, complicated, imperfect family. But you don't get to burn it all down because it's not perfect. Watch me, Harry says quietly, and there's something final in his tone that makes everyone in the studio go silent. He turns to leave, but Whoopi isn't done. Harry, she calls after him. Before you go, answer me this. Was it worth it? All of this, the books, the interviews, the Netflix deals. Was it worth losing your family? Harry stops walking, but doesn't turn around. For a long moment, the studio is completely silent. When he finally speaks, his voice is barely audible. I didn't lose my family. They lost me. And with that, he walks off the set, leaving behind a stunned studio audience and a television moment that will be replayed for years to come. Whoopi watches him go, her expression unreadable, before turning back to the camera with professional composure that's been decades in the making. Well, she says to the camera, that was something. We'll be right back after this break. But as the cameras cut away, everyone in the studio knows they've just witnessed something unprecedented. A prince, a talk show host, and a confrontation that revealed more about both of them than any scripted interview ever could. What did you think of this explosive confrontation? Do you think Whoopi went too far, or was Harry out of line? Subscribe now, and let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to hear your take on this unprecedented television moment.